This is a place.
This is the place.
This is a place. We want to talk about. This is a place.
Thank you for listening to This is a Place podcast. My name is Brandon.
I'm Nate.
And we want to wish you National Report IRS Tax Fraud Day.
Tax Fraud Day.
If you had a good friend that you knew was committing tax fraud, would it be worth it for you to report them because of the financial gain you'd have? Because if you report someone for tax fraud, don't you get like a percentage of that money?
That's what I was wondering. Do they still do that? Or
I think it's still a thing.
question is how do you know?
Maybe your friend would say,
You
"Hey,
really have to be.
I'm
I
committing
think
tax fraud."
you'd have to be like the accountant of the big company, right? Or something. Because I mean, how would you be able to prove it? Unless if I flat out come to you and be like, I'm committing tax fraud, then
That's what I'm saying.
or do you
confide
just
in
turn
me.
in all your do you just turn in all your friends and then hope that one of them was committing fraud and then you get
A good payday.
a very small percentage of whatever they owe?
Like, oh, they didn't report their sell of something on KSL.
Again, how do you prove it?
Probably not worth it.
Probably not. I've been through a tax audit before and it wasn't fun.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like a good day.
It was more like a month or two.
Doesn't sound like a
I had
good
to go
month or
back
two.
like 3 times. It was so, and at the end of the day, I probably mentioned this before, but at the end of the day, I think they owed me like an extra $47.
They owed you.
Yeah, they ended up owing me after we kind of because we missed a couple things, and it ended up that they owed me more. So
You're like, take that.
th-
Give me my $47.
yeah, it ended up being like 10 cents an hour of work involved to get that $47, whatever it was. So I would have gladly given $200 to not have to go through that whole process.
Hmm.
But it was right I mean, it was right when the market crashed and they were going after anybody doing real estate, trying to figure out. So, and she basically told me too, she's like, dude, we got bigger fish to fry. Like you're kind of a small fish and let's get you in and out of here quickly.
But still, 2 months
So
worth of work just for that.
it was a pain. Definitely a pain, and I don't ever want to go through it again. So I probably just curse myself. So I'll just plan on being at the IRS building a couple months.
To say I'll report all my other friends and not you. Because I don't want
Fair
you to have
enough.
to go
Thank
through
you.
that.
Yeah, I've already gone through that misery.
Yeah.
But when you're self-employed, there's usually a higher chance of you getting audited than somebody who's W-2,
Right.
1099 people. So here we are,
Tax season.
tax season.
Have you ever done something fun with a tax return?
It's been a long time since I've actually had a tax return, since I am self-employed. I just I don't, for stuff like that, you get a bonus, you get a tax return. To me, that's income you earned. It's not really a gift. That was your money to begin with.
Right.
You just got it back. I mean, really, that's what we do, right? Is that we loan the government money at a 0% interest rate, and then they make us prove to them that they need to give it back.
Yeah.
And so yeah. So I don't really consider tax refunds as a bonus because it's really your money that they borrowed from you at 0% interest rate.
It's not very fair, is it?
Life's not fair. Yeah, there's a lot of unfair things. And if we're going to talk about politics right now, my take on taxes, I wish they would just do a flat tax. I think it's kind of dumb the way we do it, but I would say do a flat tax. And
And then the step
I
ups.
think and do away with a lot of the unnecessary spending the government does, and life would be good. I just think it'd be so much simpler. I think, and then all those people who are complaining about the one percenters not paying their taxes, then everybody's, I guess they'd probably figure out a way not to pay it too, but
Right.
um that's my take. I hate tax season. Well,
I'll tell you
what do
what
you do with
though,
your tax refund?
I'm getting a little bit of a tax refund this time around. You know what I'm gonna do? Go get me some Philly cheesesteaks.
Well, I sent you a buy one get one free, so you should be saving some money there.
Yeah, exactly. As long as the government doesn't find out that I'm saving that money, we'll be good.
Fair enough.
Yeah, today we we're talking about pretty amazing restaurant that we have here in Utah. I would say it's probably at least in my top 5 of favorite places to go.
Are you saying top five like overall restaurants that include like sit down places or just kind of a fast food place?
Top 5 overall.
Oh yeah. So if I said, let's go eat, we can go anywhere. That's one of your top five.
My top 5 tend to be fast food, honestly. It's not a lot of sit down places. I'm like, yeah, it's my favorite. You know what I mean?
That's
But
true.
but yeah, it probably I don't know where I rank it. I'm not gonna do that here and now, but it's up there for sure.
That would be a fun topic to find out the top fives.
Maybe we should do that at some point.
For me, you always know where I'm going, right? And it's not always the same place. Where am I going to go, Brandon?
Wherever they have the deal.
There we go. Fair enough.
Or Gandolfo's.
Candles. Ooh, Gandolfos. Ooh, I wonder. Okay, we won't talk about that now.
What?
But you have never been there, so you couldn't, because we should have a Moochies versus
Mm.
Gandolfos,
Should do like all
and
the
like a
East Coast
blind test.
East Coast sandwich and meats competition. Who's the
That
best?
would be that would be fun.
Yeah.
What else wouldn't there be? Grind, is it called Grinders?
I
You ever
don't think
been
it's called
there?
grinders anymore.
No?
Um,
And then East Coast Subs is another one, right?
yeah, and there's Fat Boy Phillies.
And then there's a Philadelphian, of course. That one deserves its own episode.
But we got plenty of East Coast sandwich places here, right? Get a good amount.
Yeah, yeah, you got a little bit of Mama Pops, and then you got like Moochies, which we're talking about, which really started out Mama Pop, right? Wasn't it just the what South is that? Or are they on fifth South, sixth South, seventh South, eighth South, ninth South?
Going.
Let's go with eighth. Actually, I
Okay.
don't know.
What I didn't know is it really just started out as it was like a pottery shop when they first started it, and then they just had sandwiches on the side, basically. It's kind of
Really?
evolved into just being yeah, they've got an episode of Moochies on that Guy
Oh,
Fieri show. I watched that episode and yeah, just pointed out, it used to be this pottery shop and then eventually became a big deal. So they kind of moved away from that and just focused on the sandwiches.
that is interesting. I totally forgot. So it's on eighth South. It's pretty close. But that's the OG, right?
So let's read the origin story. So Moochie's origin story unfolds with Don McDonald, a master potter, honing his craft from childhood. Beginning in a small magnet garage, he later joined Stone Age pottery, instructing and managing classes. 1987, he established the Circle Pottery and Gift Shop at 232 East, 800 South. He earned many awards for his pottery, which now adorns collections worldwide. Don and Joanna opened a separate studio to teach pottery lessons. Joanna would bring meatballs in for the students. Joanna, growing up in Philadelphia, cherished a dream of introducing authentic Philly cheesesteaks to Salt Lake City. In 2002, during the Winter Olympics, they transformed their gift shop, adding a kitchen. With minimal resources, they gradually assembled a humble kitchen and embraced the charm of mismatched furniture. In September 2003, Moochie's Meatballs and More officially opened, gaining recognition for their fresh, handmade Italian eat entrees, especially their renowned Philly cheesesteaks meatball sandwiches. In 2008, Moochie's was selected as one of 7 Salt Lake City restaurants to be featured on the Food Network's Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives program hosted by Guy Fieri. Of the 7 Salt Lake restaurants, Moochie's was the one selected by Guy to be on the best of diners, drive-ins, and dives. So that's how we ended up with a sandwich shop inside a pottery shop. So there you go.
Did not know about the pottery. That's a odd connection, I guess you could say. You
Isn't it
could
kind of
understand if it started out as like a small bakery or cafe or something, and it evolved to that. But a pottery shop turning into a restaurant, that's just odd.
isn't that kind of how it happens though? Things that just hit, they start out as something completely different and then evolve into like a microwave. How it was like someone walked by a microwave and it melted chocolate in their it melted their chocolate bar, and then like, hey, we should turn this into something people have in all their homes to melt their chocolate bars. You know what I mean? Just like the kind of weird coincidences, things that happen that just evolve into something bigger and better than it was before.
Yeah, but that's like Chuck E. Cheese turning into a furniture store. It just seems odd.
Yeah, that would be odd. Chuck E. Cheese furniture.
But I'm glad it happened. Everything
Yeah.
happens for a reason.
So there's how many locations? Is there 4?
I think there's top of my head, they got the one we were talking about. I think they got one in South Salt Lake where there used to be a bar there, like Bumblebee Bar or something
Yeah.
like that. I think they took that. And then they got one over in West Jordan. And I don't know what I was wondering because my wife and I actually went to the West Jordan location just like a week ago. And I was trying to remember what was there before. And I can't remember what it was. And then I'm still not sure if they still have their, I guess we could look on the internets, but they still have their Lehigh location.
Is it Lehigh?
Thought it was. So I remember seeing,
That is closed. That one is closed.
okay, so we just have the 3 now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Midvale, South Salt Lake, and then the OG in Salt Lake. And I've been to all 3 of them now. Normally go to the Midvale one. It's close. I went with some kind of work partner. Went to the
Oh,
South Salt Lake one a couple years ago, and then we just recently went together with a new friend to the OG
the
location.
downtown? Yeah. I
Yeah.
think I said West Jordan, but I meant to say Midvale, just so that somebody's not freaking out saying there's not one in West Jordan. And I think the reason I said that because isn't Archibald is down the street and that's West Jordan.
Mm,
But
yeah.
anyways, but we did go downtown to the OG location with one of our new friends and well, friends of the podcast. Should we say
Friend
that?
and listener.
Friend and listener of the podcast. And some of you might know him. He has a Facebook page. He actually has 2 of them. One of them, let me pull it up so I give everyone the right. We got Bruce at Smith's, and then you got Bruce is your friend. So the Bruce at Smith's one is kind of what kind of made me think about reaching out to him. It is because I go to Smith's all the time, and I go to the one on 90th and Redwood Road where he works. And he just posts stuff on Facebook like, hey, here's some deals going on at Smith's right now. Here's some clearance stuff going on. Or next week's weekly deal is going to be this. So it's really cool. There's a lot of people who are on that one. And then he has another one that's called Bruce is your friend, where he posts deals outside of Smith's. Because when we went to lunch with them, what did we figure out, Brandon?
He likes stills like you.
He likes deals just like me. So Brandon just sat there and stared at the wall.
No, I was eating my
Just
sandwich.
eating a sandwich. At least you had food. While Bruce and I just talked about all the
Geeked out a little
deals
bit.
to be had out there in the world. So we both geek out about a good deal.
Yeah,
We love the thrill of the deal.
you guys and your deals.
So yeah, but we went to the OG location to meet up with him for lunch and chat about life and deals. And we thought, hey, this would make a good episode to talk about Moochies, since a lot of people obviously know about them.
Yeah.
They're pretty popular.
And that location in Salt Lake is pretty cool because it's like it's almost like two houses or two
Which I didn't
buildings.
realize that till we went there the other
Yeah.
day.
You got like the main building. It's got a cool painting on the side of it that a lot of people like to take a picture in front of. And then you've got a second building that's kind of there's an outside portion, and then in between that and the other building, there's like a whole other building. So we went in there and we're just by ourselves because no one really goes into there. So that was kind of cool. Kind of have our own little space.
Yeah. Like I
I
said, I
bet it
didn't know
gets a
they
lot
had that
busier.
second
We were
building.
we were there kind of after lunch, so maybe it gets
Yeah.
busier around lunchtime and fills up pretty significantly. But
Yeah, they've got, like you said, the main building, the kitchen, not a whole lot of room in there to sit. So I'm glad they had that second building because if you wanted to go sit down and eat, but even though it seems like nowadays everybody just wants to grab and go. And they even had that little courtyard area where you can sit outside. So there's a lot of places to sit that I did not realize they had. So I've been there a few times before, like our office sometimes has gone over there to eat. Their offices are downtown. And I did not realize they had that second building. The only problem is, I mean, I think they do have a bathroom in there, right? So if you need to go to
right,
the bathroom, but if you wanted a refill and you drink, they don't have a, which makes sense. There's nobody over there really
monitoring.
monitoring, yeah, the situation, but they don't have the soda fountains not in there. So if you want a refill on your drink, you'd have to go across campus to get your refill.
Yeah,
For the handful of times that I've been there, I've only had their Philly steak. Have you tried anything outside of that?
I did get the meatballs one time. It's funny to me that it's called Moochie's Meatballs. And another thing I learned from that episode is Moochie is what the lady who started it, that's what her parents called her or something like that. That was like her nickname, where she
Hmm.
came up with the Moochie's Meatballs. And so in the episode, she's kind of teaching Guy how she makes the meatballs, or and she's got like secret ingredients that she puts in and stuff, as well as the Philly cheesesteaks. But I would not be surprised if most people go there and just get a Philly.
Well, their logo now says Moochie's Meatballs and More, and
Mm-hmm.
then in yellow, so it like kind of pops. It says authentic Philly cheesesteaks.
Yeah.
So I totally forgot about the whole meatball thing until you brought it up. Like, oh yeah, they're really that's probably how they got their foot in the door, right? With sandwiches is the meatballs.
Right. But yeah, I mean, I always call it Moochies. I don't usually call it Moochies Meatballs, but that's what the actual name is, right?
Right.
But yeah, I thought the meatballs were good, but I'm a big fan of the Philly cheesesteak, so that's usually what I go for. Get a Philly
Yeah.
cheesesteak with some onions and that American cheese. Get some fries. They got different sauces you can try, like a spicy
Hmm.
jalapeno, normal, a mild sauce.
Yeah. Our friend Bruce introduced me to the jalapeno sauce
Yeah.
for the Philly cheesesteak, which was really good. I like that. And then when my wife and I went a week or so ago, um, they have fry sauce in bottles, and I like how they're not stingy with their fry sauce too. It's like,
Hmm.
most places you go and they give you
Charge
this
you
huge order
extra.
of fries, and then they give you a little cup of fry sauce. You're like, really? So I can barely dip my fry in it to get some sauce, but they're not
Man,
stingy with
I
it. But
want my fry sauce with my fries and my Philly.
yeah, I just want it dripping in fry sauce.
Yeah.
Um, Anywho, my wife went to they have a little fridge for their fry sauce and jalapeno sauce. So she grabbed one and then she squirted it on our tray, whatever. And I take my first bite of the fry and I'm like, did you just pour out the jalapeno sauce? Because even though it looked like fry sauce, and apparently they've got a spicy fry sauce and a
Hmm.
mild one. Both good, depending on what you're in the mood for.
Yeah. Have you ever had, have you ever been to Philadelphia, had an authentic Philly cheesesteak before?
Nope.
You of all people, it's surprising you've never been to Philadelphia.
Yeah,
It seems like
it's funny. I
you're
just
somewhere you want to go. Bucket list place, you know?
yeah, yeah, it's definitely on my list. New York is the closest I've ever gotten to Philly.
I did have an authentic Philly cheesesteak. I went there last year. And I'm gonna be honest, it was good. It was delicious. But I think the ones here are just as good. They're comparable.
Well, I'm sure
So,
everybody has their own way to spin it in Philly, and I'm sure even the locals would say this place is the best.
mhm,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
Kind of like pizza, right? For the most part, pizza's the same, but is it really? Not really.
right. Yeah, I find it interesting that, you know, and you can't really do a good comparison unless you're trying both at the same time, right?
Valid point.
But
So what do you do? Do you pack a Moochie's Philly cheesesteak and then head over to Philly,
I guess
warm it
that's
up in
what,
that microwave you talked about, and then
yeah, there you
give
go.
it a whirl?
I guess that's what you'd have to do. I'm not going to go through all that effort to do it. I'm just going to say, I hope someday you get to Philly. You can go and see all the sights from the Rocky movies. You can go run up the stairs, see the statue, and then get yourself an authentic Philly cheesesteak in Philly. That's what you got to do.
Where maybe that's where I should go on my next family trip. Head to
Maybe.
Philly. Head to Philly for a Philly.
And take a Moochies with you. But yeah, I think it's a great place to have here locally. Um, I did meet the owner a couple years ago, and she gave me a couple free cheesesteak passes or whatever, which is pretty
Really?
cool. But yeah, she was a nice lady, and they just keep plugging away and pumping out the good products. I think something else that's really cool, and they did give you a cup so you could try it, but they've got authentic like what is it called? Birch beer,
Oh, I can't remember.
Pennsylvania Dutch birch beer or something like that. So one of
Yeah,
the things they really focus on is giving you that authentic Philly experience with that drink. They sell the Philly, what do you call them? Like the cakes, kind of like the Little Debbie's, but the East Coast versions of them. What are they called? Tasty cakes?
tasty cakes.
Yeah, I think that's what they are. So they really try to do all they can to make it an authentic experience, bringing that little taste of Philly to you. Do you like the drink?
It just tasted like bark fruit beer to me. But
But it
then
wasn't.
again, like I don't, not drinking soda. Maybe it skewed my taste buds, but
I agree with you. I thought that's what it tastes like as
I
well.
did sin and partake of a little bit of that just to try it, but it just my mind registered Barks root beer.
Yep, I think you are on the right track.
But you realize, I mean, going on total tangent, but they did a top 10 list of the unhealthiest drinks, and like Coke wasn't even on the top 10. A lot of
Really?
sodas weren't. Yeah. The worst sugary, like bad for you drink was one of those naked drinks.
Really? Hmm.
Forget which one it was. Actually, Naked made like three of the top 10,
You think
which
that'd be
they,
like healthy?
yeah, healthy for you. I think one of the root beers made it. Can't remember. Maybe it was Barks root beer, but yeah, I just was kind of like, oh, wow, not
Yeah,
a whole
that's
lot of
surprising.
soda. I think Mountain Dew was on there as well, but it was interesting to see the top 10 list of unhealthiest drinks.
Hmm.
So maybe soda isn't that bad. Maybe I should get back on it, Brandon.
Well,
Here I am.
do that rather than drink the naked.
That's what I'm saying, right? Here I am thinking I'm being, oh yeah, like one of the Arizonas, a couple of the Arizonas was on there. It's just crazy.
Really? Huh.
You think like a lot of them weren't even carbonated. Here I am thinking that I'm being all healthy, but in reality, maybe I'm making things worse
Let's not be too
by trying
crazy.
to.
Like soda still isn't good for you.
This is true.
Well, anything else we need to say about Moochies?
We've been a bundle of joy for this episode.
What's that?
Edge of your seat, excitement.
Yeah. I will be honest. I'm not feeling the best. I'm a little sick. And so I'm
Yeah.
not high energy right now.
You
We
know,
just
no,
got
yeah, there we go.
we just got to get the episodes out sometimes, you know?
Yeah, sometimes you got to push through it and just get them out so that we don't miss another week. And we're still a little on the downside. I mean, knowing that BYU got their butts kicked in the first round of the NCAA tournament,
Yeah.
still hard to get over.
Still hard to get over, even though the whole tournament's over.
It's gone.
Yeah. But we never even mentioned we've hit the 4 year anniversary of our podcast. I think we talked about it, but we didn't actually announce it when we hit it.
We did
We're
not.
4 years strong.
Can you believe that? Seems, I don't know. Just time seems to be going by way too fast.
Yeah.
Getting old. As a teenager, 4 years seemed like an eternity. As an adult, it's like blink of an eye.
hmm 4 years
So
later, we've been having these edge of our seat conversations
it's high energy,
for four
high octane
years,
for 4 years now.
once a week, every week.
We still have stuff to say.
We still got
We
plenty to
still have
say.
like we still have like so many places that we need to go that we had on our list from the very beginning.
hmm Yeah, someone I was talking to someone about it, and they were like, "How are you going to run out of places?" I'm like, no, never. Like we could do this for
No.
forever
And we
because
still
we'll
get
keep,
people suggesting places too.
yeah, new places, places to go away, and other things to replace them. Like we have no shortage of content. That's for sure. Shortage of energy sometimes, but not shortage of content.
It's shortage of time.
Shortage of time, attention, but we could talk forever, especially about the deals.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Always about the
Deals,
deals.
pickleball,
Could go on forever. We could have separate episodes or not episodes, podcast.
separate podcasts for each individual tangent.
One for the deals, one about the pickleball, one about places in Utah. Just quit our jobs. We talked about 1,000 times. Win that Powerball. I think both Powerball and Mega Millions has been claimed, right?
I
The
don't know.
big, I don't know, because I think they were up around, both of them got up to about 1 billion. We just forgot to head to Evanston.
Soon enough.
Could that be an episode we do? Evanston? Does that
Maybe
count as Utah?
maybe it will be. Maybe it's already on the list for the
Maybe.
next couple months.
There we
Just
go.
just might be.
Let's get that Powerball back up so that we can fulfill all of our podcast dreams.
Could you imagine like we do go up there and we're like, oh yeah, what the heck? Buy a lotto ticket. It actually hits. Like, oh, deal. I
Yeah,
take it. I take it.
that would just be wild.
So wild. Never would happen.
That episode would be high energy. If we even, never mind.
We'd have to take a break for a couple. Well, we wouldn't want to tell people we won the Powerball, right? Because then they'll be
Well, we
coming
need
after
something.
us.
Well, so here's the deal. They say one of the worst things you can do is just retire and do nothing. Like you basically rot away faster than you die.
Right.
So we will have our billions and we'll do all of our ideas. We don't, but we keep busy by doing the podcast and keeping all of our theme parks and what other things we're doing with those millions,
Well, you could just
with
go
all
to
those ideas.
Philly one day and have a Philly cheesesteak just for the heck of it.
There we go. Yeah. So we will keep busy
It's like,
with
have you ever
our
seen those jokes where people say,
millions.
if I won the lottery, I wouldn't tell people, but there would be signs.
Like, wait,
Never mind.
Brandon hasn't had a job for 3 years, but he just bought a brand new whatever.
Yeah. Nate finally got that pickleball court installed in his backyard.
Oh, I wouldn't have a pickleball court in my backyard. I would build like a barn
A
and
barn.
have like three or four.
Oh, nice.
I would move. Yeah.
Heating and cooling.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd have like a barn with like 4 courts. So that's what I would do. Podcasting,
Barning.
run our theme parks, but we'd have people to do that. And then
On
pickleball
houses.
the rest of the time. Run the haunted house. We'd be busy. It would keep us busy.
Yeah. We wouldn't rot away, that's for sure.
We would not. Yeah. And every once in a while we'd go golfing and fishing.
Hmm.
The
Maybe.
regular retiree stuff. Maybe.
Maybe some golfing. I don't know about fishing. But
Yeah.
until then, it's gonna happen pretty soon once we go up to Evanston or Malad and get our lotto tickets. It's gonna happen. So stay tuned for we're not gonna necessarily announce it, but you'll know. You'll know that we won. There will be
Eventually.
signs. There will be signs.
That makes sense. And if there's
But
no signs, that means we didn't win. Is that what you're
that's
saying?
yeah, that didn't work. When we have an episode of us going to Philly with a Moochie's Philly cheesesteak in hand, that's how you know. That'll be the sign
Right.
that we made it. But until then, thanks for listening to This Is a Place podcast.
And this was a place we just talked about.